Good morning. It's 9 o'clock a.m. and 1 minute right now. January 16th, 2024 on a Tuesday, and I had a client I was working with right up until start time. And got a couple interesting things one to tell you and the other to show you. And the one to tell you about is the one that I just finished with. Client calls and his computer was working fine yesterday in his law office, and he says both screens are black, but he can see his mouse and he can move his mouse around on the screen. Both of his two monitors, the screens are black. They already tried shutting the computer off and turning on again. Since they couldn't click on the start button, the only way to do that is hold down the power button and force the power off. So they did that. Turn it back on, and still his black screen can move the mouse around. So I connected remotely successfully, and I saw the same thing. I could move the mouse around. He could see me moving the mouse. No, he couldn't. Scratch that. He could move his mouse around. I could see it. But both of his screens showed up black to me. There's a Control-Alt-Delete button in my remote control software. I click that. Nothing come up on the screen. We were talking through some things, some suspicions, both his end and my end, and then I use an option in my Log Me and Rescue software that allows. I haven't checked to be sure I've got audio coming through. Oh, and I don't have the bots running. All right. Well, that's what happens when things buffering, not good. I don't show any dropped frames. Try refreshing your screen, Tim. I think it's on your end. Yeah, let's see. So got the bots up. So somebody could test the bot. Yeah, let's see. Got that there. Lawn Dog says everything is fine. Okay, thank you.
All good here.
Wow. I see John's message. I heard it try to talk in my ear, but I could not hear it. It did not work. Did you guys hear John Williams' message all right? Okay, just scanning through. So audio is fine. I haven't tested myself. I don't even have audio playing. It's still stuck on the trailer, at the end of the trailer for me. So I'll refresh that screen, see if it comes up. Yeah, there it is. I'll refresh. And I heard that. Now, come back here, finishing my story. Let's see. So I have this other option on my Log Me and Rescue where I can command a reboot to tell it to restart. I can tell it to restart in normal mode and reconnect the remote. I can tell it to restart in safe mode, and there's a couple other modes, whatever they are. So I clicked on that, and we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and nothing's happening. It still looks just the black screens with the mouse visible and controllable. And so we get to the point where I tell him, hey, I'm concerned about this. I think I need to come over and pick up your computer.
Some of those YouTube suggested videos are the same ones coming on my screen. Do we have the same hobbies?
Okay, I'm not going to deal with that right now, Lawn Dog. So I tell him I'm concerned about it. I want to come pick it up. So you need to work on plan B. And he says, well, what's plan B? Well, it's whatever you're going to do while you don't have a computer. Do you need help from me for setting that up, getting you set up somewhere else? And just about that time on my remote software, I see my remote screen close. It closes. Well, that's part of the process for restarting. So I'm thinking, maybe it's going to restart. So we give it a few more minutes. And yes, it restarted. The screen came up fine, and it's working. Don't know what happened. So that was a weird one this morning. Now, a weird one yesterday, I'm going to show you this Excel spreadsheet and give you some description of what's going on. And there is a link in the description of this video where you can actually download this sheet that I am showing and see if it does the same thing for you. Let's, I think I'm going to maximize that. Let's do that. Okay, so this is just a little excerpt from one of the sheets on this. Let's see, seldom ball hacked, black to hide what's going on, maybe. Yeah, well, we didn't have any reason to suspect that. And that was after he even, forced power off and started. So I'll be checking over that computer a little bit. But I don't think that's what's going on. So anyway, this is part of a law office bookkeeper's worksheet. And the way that this works is she has a workbook that has a whole bunch of tabs across the bottom. The first tab is the summary. And then each tab after that is one of their clients of this law office. So each sheet has information about payments for the clients, and that's what this is. This is an excerpt from one of those sheets showing the dates of payments. This one is probably a closed case. It hasn't had a payment in a long time. So you see what happens here is we see the money coming in and we see money coming out of the retainer fund for the client. And they just keep adding more and more payments. And the summary sheet uses a formula that takes the value of this balance cell. The thing that's wrong here is these parentheses zeros. When you have zeros in a formula, when you have a zero value, it should not show up as parentheses. It should not show up as zeros. It should just be blank. So what happens on the summary sheet, I discovered, well, this isn't actually zero. If I press F2 and then F9 for it to calculate, see, there's actually a number in that cell. It's in scientific notation, minus 1.02318, etc., minus 12. So that's going to be a number that's got like 12 leading zeros to the left of that one. It's a really, really tiny number, but it is not zero. And there's a whole bunch of this throughout this entire workbook. So when I trace back to find where is this happening, how is this happening? So I come up here to the top of these zeros, F2, F9. F2 is the edit key in Excel, F9 is a calc key, and that has a value, very tiny value. What the formula in this cell does is it looks at cell E15, see the E15 right there. So it's looking at this cell right here, which is in column E, row 15. It's taking that number and it's adding to it the sum of cells B15 to D15. So here's B15, column B, row 15.
Are those
D15.
values formatted as dollars, though?
Are those formatted as dollars? No, they're formatted as numbers. There's no dollar sign. And that's, don't go down that road any further yet, Greg. I understand what you're thinking. You're thinking about formatting. Formatting just controls the way a number appears. Doesn't change the value. So why do these have a non-zero value? Now, if I come over to this number, is this number actually 495.15 or is it got more small digits to it? So F2, F9. No, that is actually 495.15. How about this cell that appears to be empty? Is it actually empty? Yes. F2 and F9 and F2 and F9. They are actually empty. Now, how about this cell up here? F2 and F9. It does not have those smaller numbers either. Now, some of the other spreadsheets, some of the other sheets that I looked at that were for specific clients, they would have those weird numbers all the way up to some random location up this column. But at somewhere it just starts. So on this one, it's this cell, right? Yeah, this cell. It's got that weird number. This one with the 0 does not have a weird number. Okay, here we have a weird number. In this, but the 1298, Does not have a weird number. Now, how about this 495.15? Does it have a weird number? No. So the first place we see a weird number is in this cell. Why? It makes absolutely no sense. Now, there's another problem happening in this workbook, which is what brought her attention to this problem. I think this symptom of these low value numbers has been there for a long, long time. It's never caused a problem because the numbers are so tiny. But what happened, and I'm not set up to demonstrate this to you, is she was going to add a new client. They had a new client come in, put in some money for the retainer fund. And she went into the summary sheet and inserted a new row at the correct alphabetical location, so she can keep them in alphabetical order. When she did that...
Watch as the yellow triangle indicating in that cell that has the issue.
Yeah, that's not the solution. I'll show you what that is in a moment. At the bottom of at the total on her summary sheet, that number would change when she inserted a blank row without typing any numbers in. I went and looked at the formulas. The formulas were all correct. It was just a blank row. I had her, I emailed that to myself while remotely connected to her computer and found the same, not the same symptom, but a little bit different, because when I open it as an attachment, it's in protected view mode. When I enabled editing, the total instantly changed. And I tracked that down to one of the clients, the number was actually changing. So that's a separate issue completely, and we solved that issue. But her worksheet should have been automatically recalculating without inserting a row. That she had to insert a row before the number recalculated was a weird symptom. I'm not focusing on that right now because this one is one that I can share with you easier. I thought maybe there's people out there that would like to download this and see it. So I'm going to, let me show you the exclamation mark. All these that have the green triangle there, they're all showing the exclamation mark, and I did research this. And it says the formula in this cell refers to a range that has additional numbers adjacent to it. It's not an error, it's a warning. It's a yellow triangle. That's not an error message, that's a warning symbol. And what the formula is doing is it's saying that we've got a formula that's referencing these three cells, but there's a number adjacent to it. Or it might be referring to this number above it. It doesn't seem to me like it should be warning that, but it is just a warning. And I trace that out. So here I can do formula omits adjacent cells, update formula to include the cells, help on this error, ignore the error, edit in formula bar. So the appropriate choice here would be ignore error because we know we have the formula correct. So if I click on that, then that green triangle goes away and the exclamation mark goes away. Now, let me go show you in today's video, in the description area, there's this part right here. It says use this link for the spreadsheet shown in today's live stream. If you click on that link, you can download it to your own computer and play with it and see if you can figure out what's going on. Now, last night I was working on this up to about 8 o'clock last night. And so I got her fixed to the point where we solved that other problem with the new client so she could continue working. But I told her, look, this is not right. And also because her summary sheet was not giving her the correct total until she inserted a blank row, that's a problem. She's not really going to be able to rely on the numbers she's seeing on the spreadsheet if she has to do this, if she has to like
Google
kick the
Sheets
tires
needs
to
me
get
to
the thing
request
to work.
access to that spreadsheet.
Google Sheets needs me to request access to that spreadsheet. Okay, let me go check on that. Now I only set that up just before starting the show. Let's come over here. So here's in my Google Drive. And when I go to share, choose share options, restricted. I'm sorry, I didn't get to the point of making that anyone with the link. Okay, there we go. I missed that step. Sorry. Try it now. That speaker bot, that saved the day. I wouldn't have seen that message for a while, right? Yeah, I'm liking SpeakerBot. It would be interesting if you would show us the cell formatting with the formatting number of decimals displayed. Sure, let's go do that. And I did that yesterday, so I know what it's going to do. So let's make sure I've got. Oh, let's just go ahead and select all of these, right? And I'm going to right click and choose Format Cells. And what I'll do here, it's accounting is the formatting that she's using. Click OK, so it shows all those decimal places, then make the column wider. And so here you can see where that weird number starts. It starts right there. And now when we're not seeing it in scientific notation, we can tell that it is actually, looks like it has subtracted 0.00000, bunch of zeros and a 1 at this last digit number down here where we see this last 9. It would have been subtracting a 1 at that level in order to get all those 9s. Yeah, that now I did the bunch of decimal places yesterday on a single cell. I didn't do the whole lot of them this way. So where is that coming from? And then, oh, down here, these zeros get this, that's the amount that it's off. So it's actually not a 1, it's a bunch of zeros, 1023185 39494540000. Why is that? All right, I'm going to highlight the rest of these and do Control Y to repeat that formatting. And we just see that it goes all the way down. So on the summary sheet, what I was seeing for this client was this crazy number. And this is showing up on a bunch of the clients, not all of them. And now this makes me wonder, the clients who actually have a dollar amount as their total, they might have this tiny number on the end of them as well. I didn't think of that. Now I can't open that sheet now for you because it has all their client names. So it's just got too much, identifiable information that I can't show them. But at this level right here, this is enough to say, hey, this isn't right. How is this happening? Okay. Seldom binary floating point does not always translate directly into decimal floating point. Were you wanting a different format? Isn't that caused by the difference between floating point arithmetic and fixed point arithmetic? Okay, well, the arithmetic going on here is taking one value that's in cell E9, adding to that the sum of 3 cells. There's no dividing going on. There's no multiplication going on. This is all addition. What floating point operations are you going to get into when you're adding pennies? Dollars and pennies. Yeah, so I don't see that. Show more decimals for dep and draw columns, for deposit and draw columns. Oh, okay, sure. Grab all of these, format, and run the decimal places up. Oh, I could have just done Control Y to repeat the formatting. All right, I'm gonna just drag that back to a reasonable place. So there's no oddball numbers showing up over here. And these are all these are straight numbers. These are not formulas at all. Just straight numbers. Hello, Bobby. So, yeah. Now I have other things lined up for today. I have presented that situation. If some of you want to go tinker around with it, you can send me an email back if you find something on it. It'd be very appreciated. I'm not going to be able to turn my attention on it for a while. I was working on her whole situation for a few hours last night because it was causing quite an alarming condition for her. Now let's see, where do I go next? I'm going to be switching topics here. Let's see. So Lawn Dog sent a screenshot of that sharing problem. So we're already resolved on that. We'll go down that road. Okay. Following up with Martin Hogg from yesterday. I copied this from chat after ending the stream. He was telling us about a problem he was having with the computer, and this message says, when powering down, the message on the screen said hibernating. This was a Windows XP laptop. Message on screen said hibernating. Have tried removing the battery and the power plug and power discharge, so I'd be holding the power button down. But the screen is still blank. I'm assuming you mean the screen is still blank after you press the power button to turn it back on. Now, these are my notes down here on this next line. Just remind me, it's a Windows XP laptop. So when you plug the AC adapter in, are you getting a light around that power connector indicating that it is accepting a charge? Does the AC adapter brick, does the power brick have an indicator light indicating that it is
Martin left you a message
power
in chat.
Martin says, left you a message in chat. Martin, looking at Martin. Oh, thank you. So maybe
Martin Hogg said it was fixed.
Hi everybody. Good news on, well, let's go show it in chat. Thank you for letting me know that he's already told us results of that. And there's SpeakerBot to the rescue again. I like it. Hi everyone, good news. On the Sony Vaio non-boot and no post screen with Windows XP issue, bad RAM stick also have now disabled the hibernate function and adjusted power options. Awesome. Bad RAM stick. How about that? So I want to know, did you just go ahead and open it up and test those memory boards that were in it, or did you swap them out for other memory, and because it now works, you're assuming, probably correct, that it was a bad memory stick? Yeah, tell us about how you went about that, if you don't mind, Martin. Okay, so let's see, he's got 5. No, that's John replying, Alice replying, John letting me know he replied, Zavi saying he said it was fixed. That's so cool. You guys have been yelling at the screens in the past when I'm talking on and on and on about something that you guys already know the answer to because it's in chat and I haven't looked at chat and you don't have a way to yell at me. Now you have a way to yell at me. How about that? I like it. I like it a lot. Upgrade the computer to Windows 7? No, he'll make the decision on that based upon his purposes for the computer. You shouldn't make an assumption that he should upgrade it. We don't know why he has that computer, what purpose it is, whether he wants to do anything with it, or why he was even monkeying around with it. And Windows 7 is no longer under support anyway, so why? I would not throw on that automatically. If it's somehow useful to him with Windows 7, maybe, but we don't know why he has it. He might have it because it has some old content or old game or something. That's from his an old game from his childhood, which is when he got that computer. No, I don't think that's. I don't think that's the case. All right, so, but let's see. Did I want to make some other comments about that? Oh, the other things that I had on that was suggestions is to ask, do you get anything on the
for punishment?
Do you get anything on the screen as you're starting it? Martin says, Doug, the power option showed hibernate was selected when the power button pressed. Also, when the lid was closed, changed it to shut down. Okay, that makes sense. And when it was trying to hibernate, it probably failed due to that bad memory board that you didn't even know it had obviously didn't know it had a bad memory board. Jim says he's a glutton for punishment. That didn't come over very well in my ear. Are you hearing the speaker bot clearly? It's even getting hard to find any Windows 7 keys. Those companies have discounted keys. Bought a Windows 7 key. I'm going to get back to my notes over here. So I was going to ask, does it even show the Windows logo splash screen? Because that would be independent. That would be prior to the attempt for hibernation. If it does, can you use the F8 command to choose to boot to command prompt, use attrib to unhide the hibernate.file and delete it if that was actually causing the problem. That's not what was causing the problem. Greg M says, clearly hearing the bot. Good. It's just me. It's not you. It's me. Ay, caramba. Okay. The other email I sent to me was to remind me about that spreadsheet issue. And I'm going to look and see.
I hear everything.
John says, I hear everything. John, I'm sorry. Maybe a doctor can help you with that. If
Doug fixed the spreadsheet issue.
Hearing everything in the entire world, everybody. Greg M says, Doug fixed the spreadsheet issue. ID Doug fix. Are you saying you fixed it? Now, I don't want to just, you could use a round function to just chop off those digits at the end. That doesn't solve the symptom. That just deals with the symptom. So tell me more, Greg, about what you did. Did you figure out why it's happening? Or did you just fix the symptom? Because I know how to fix the symptom. So give me more. I want more. I want more. I want more details. Deets. Give me the deets. Let's see. Do I have anything else lined up on today's bookmarks? No. Not in channel comments. I have a redirect set up for Carrie Holzman. And now let's come back to chat and see what Martin's got at the bottom. No, not Martin. Sorry. Greg M. Yes. Clearly hearing bot. Fix the spreadsheet issue. Yes. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Are you saying that
Does anyone see the little Dougs?
Does anyone see the little Dougs? I don't have any little Dougs on right now. Do I? Yeah. No, because once I switched from XSplit to OBS, I haven't set up the little Dougs. They are ignored. All right. What do you let's see. Greg M. Yes. I think he might be figuring out how to type it. Oh, here we go. It's the way MS Excel does calculations. It keeps more decimal places when doing calculations. I've seen this issue years ago. I formatted the balance column as dollars rather than accounting, and the parentheses disappeared. All right, let's go check that out. So if I'll just click on the column and format the cells of the column. Currency, 2 places. Now I'm going to move it up to a bunch of places.
Little Dougs are in your head.
No, currency, they're still there. If you format, okay, but those tiny numbers are still there. So what you're saying, though, is the zeros disappeared. Okay. So if I go to format cells and bring it back down to 2, No, the zeros are still there. Those cells should be blank. Let's see, F2, F9, it's not that one. F2, F9, it's not that one. F2, F9, it's that one. Now, if I remake this formula, equal sign, E14 plus sum, parenthesis, left arrow twice, colon, right arrow a couple times, and then parenthesis. So I recreated that formula, and oh, it still has those extra digits. If I use @round to truly round off the value, well, you don't use the @ symbol anymore, but put a round parenthesis, comma, 2 to round off to 2 digits. Does that do it? Yeah, we don't get all that extra, but I'm still seeing these zeros. Am I not right about that? All right. But the true value in that cell still has those little numbers. Why? Now somebody said something that they've seen it long ago about the way that, or what did you say? I don't need to remember. It's the way MS Excel does calculations. It keeps more decimal places when doing calculations. I've seen this issue years ago. I formatted the balance column as dollar symbols. The parentheses disappeared. Did this one have parentheses to begin with? Oh, let's see. Let me...
See what happened if you put 1 o'clock in the refund?
That has that number. This doesn't have negative numbers, so they're not parentheses. Could you just copy the good cells and drag down? Okay, so here's the bad cell. This one is a good cell. And yes, I could have done that rather than recreating. So if I just drag down, I'm thinking it's still going to do that wrong calculations. I don't buy that there's anything legitimate about Excel coming up with those numbers because it keeps more decimal places. Yes, I know that. I know it keeps more decimal places than what you're displaying on the screen. And the true value of the cell can be different than what you're seeing based upon your formatting. But why does it have a different value? There is no calculation in there. There's no numbers in there that should be causing that less than a penny value. Yes, please. I don't know what that was in relation to. Little Doug's in your head. See what happened if you put 1.00 in the refund. 1.0. So just one enter. Okay. So because that D column is included, F2, F9, no, still has that. And then did the number actually change? 804 right now, delete that, 803. So $1, just changed it by $1, but we still got that little amount. I'm not seeing any explanation for why that's happening. Parentheses in column B. Parentheses in column B. I don't see any parentheses in column B. We have them in column C, and that's just because the formatting there is using parentheses to indicate negative numbers. See, that's what the formatting is showing. And that's because the calculation is taking the number above and then summing all these numbers. So a draw is money taken out of the the account. I'm forgetting the legal word, what that account's called. Yeah, it's just a negative number, so that's not it. And that gave us all these ones. How about if I delete this row? I mean, this is all just experimental. If I delete this row, will this formula up here then have that weird calculation? Anybody want to place a bet on it? Delete that entire row.
The accountant formatted those numbers as accounting. Did they specify the number of decimal places?
They did. When they had it formatted as accounting, they had it specified 2 decimal places. That was from Greg M. So that's why she was never seeing all those tiny little numbers. And those tiny little numbers were not causing her trouble. The only reason why I'm like a dog with a bone on this is because the symptom that she is having that is causing trouble is that she can't rely on the calculated total on her summary page, because what she discovered last night is when she inserts a blank row anywhere in among those hundreds of clients that they have, one of those numbers would change. One of those sub-account numbers would change, which would change her grand total. And she thought that she had a valid grand total. Now, because the valid grand total was matching with QuickBooks, the number in QuickBooks. So when that number was changing, she was certain that that new number was wrong. Turns out that new number was correct, and there was a $1,500 error somewhere else. We think it was in QuickBooks. We won't know until she reconciles the bank statement, because there was a $1,500 transaction just 4 days ago. And that's the one that was not showing up on the summary sheet. Okay, so now when I deleted that column, no, let's delete. Can I delete the column? No, I can't, because what happens is that it changes all these other formulas.
Doug, if you copy a complete good row, then right. Click and select Paste Special.
Okay. Martin's saying if you copy a complete good row, then right-click and Paste Special. I like that. So let's, we'll do the whole row. Copy. Then come down to the problem row. Right-click. And, well, I don't mind just, well, no, I don't want to just Paste Special. The formulas, I need the formulas to adjust their relative referencing. So Paste Special, we want formulas. If we do, that menu won't stay open. Okay, I'm just going to start with a regular paste and see what we get. Okay, that looks reasonable. Let's see what those formulas look like. This formula takes E15, which is the correct cell, and adds B16, so that formula is correct. And this one's E14 is the cell above me, and B15 to D15, that's correct. And here is E13. So those formulas are all correct. Now, do we have those little numbers? No. Yes. We got those little numbers starting at row 16, which is the last row that actually has a formula. So no, that's still, of course, it changed all the numbers, but that's okay. I don't mind changing all those numbers, but that was a valid experiment. Did not solve the problem. Okay, coming back to chat, because I see you got some stuff in here. Now, I'm not going to, I'm going to kind of skip through this. So if I need to look at one of those specifically, then tell me about it. The account format is accounting specify, yeah. Copy complete. Yeah. Look at this explanation regarding decimal points in Excel. Takes two inputs. Both inputs declared as double. However, the input has a large number of decimal places. Let's see, how long is this? Can you guide me to something specific there to look at? Take a look at this exclamation regarding decimal points. I understand about floating, decimal point precision, hourly range. Let's see, here we have, they've got some crazy numbers. Why can't decimal numbers be represented exactly in binary? Why are floating? Now, I'm suspecting that's happening when they're doing some kind of division or multiplication. Makes sense that you would run into that problem, but not when you're doing addition. Yeah, okay. Do you have something specific to point me to in that? I was thinking along those lines, some kind of overflow with the numbers. Yeah, that's a reasonable idea, but we're only dealing with addition. There's nothing else. All right. I think it's time to put this to bed. You can send me an email if you get something else. I will read through the rest of this after I end the show. There's the email address if you want to send any other communications about it. I have some other work that I have to turn my attention to, so I'm not going to be working on this now. Oh, I need to look at something while the show's still here. I'm going to SpeakerBot. Speedy was watching with us on Fortnite this morning, and he asked to assign a certain voice to him, which I should be able to do. But it wouldn't let me do that. Over here on users, I should have all of your names showing up here that I can assign specific voices to. And it's not there. Now, there's something going wrong with this, because when I try to save settings or if I try to exit, I've been getting an error message. So I think this program is messing up on me. I'm going to try saving this. I think it's going to crash. No, I'm going to try closing it. No, did not crash. Oh well, I don't know. Okay, I'm out of here. Goodbye. Have a good day, everybody. Fun times.